An auspicious beginning to this final day of January 2019. It is January 31st. It's a Thursday, and I am Dan Kuntz, and this is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Thanks for starting your day with us here on the NCWLIFE channel. Yeah, January is almost in the rearview mirror. Tomorrow is February 1st. Of course, Saturday is Groundhog Day. That's when Puxatawny Phil gets dragged out of his hole in the ground in central Pennsylvania, and they wake him up, and he gets mad, and they have a party, and the guy in the top hat and the coat, and then he either sees his shadow and he doesn't, and then he goes back to bed. One of the strangest traditions in American history, but this is a pretty strange country at times, is it not? Good show for today. Lots of things going on. We have news to touch on. We have the weather forecast. We'll take you up to the major mountain passes. Things are going to change weather-wise, by the way. We're going to have one more day of some patchy fog and some clouds. It's going to be chilly today. A little snow coming our way over the weekend, and then here comes some very cold temperatures. Coldest stretch of weather we've had all winter long. As we mentioned this before, it's been an abnormally dry and an abnormally warm, mild winter, if you will. That's the dry part isn't going to change next week, but boy, is it going to get chilly. We will not have afternoon highs anywhere near freezing next week. It doesn't affect me. I'll be on assignment in warmer climes. Maybe that's why I'm in such a good mood. We also have sports. We have the obscure holiday. We have birthdays. We have today in history. We have everybody is entitled to Mike McNally's opinion. We have Kennel Cameos with Megan McPherson. See if we can get Scooter the dog home. And in the conversation portion of this program in the second half hour, the motion picture, the documentary is called The Winter's Tale. And it's a fascinating documentary, and the people responsible for it, the creative team, if you will, Amelia Egbert and Randy Lewis came by yesterday morning to tape the conversation segment about this movie. You don't want to miss that. It's kind of hard for me to explain. Randy and Amelia did a much better job than me. That's a conversation you don't want to miss. That's coming up in the second half of the program. If it's okay with you, buckle your seatbelts, put the tray in the upright position. Let's take you around the valley with our Valley View cameras. And we'll begin this morning with downtown Wenatchee, our camera from the roof of the historic Cascadian Hotel. Somebody was talking to me the other day. I said, do you remember the old Columbian? And I remember the Columbian. It closed in like the mid-70s, burned to the ground in the mid-80s, and now it's the downtown Centennial Park, of course, right across the street from Davis Furniture, right behind the Wenatchee Valley Museum and Cultural Center. That was the Columbian, and the Columbian and the Cascadian were the two iconic hotels in Wenatchee back in the day. Cascadian is still there, though, and that's a spectacular view looking north on Wenatchee Avenue with Bob's Classic in the foreground there. Also, you can see the Coast Hotel to your far right. Camera number 2. By the way, Uriah is pushing the buttons today. That's got to be Billy Goat Uriah? Yep, that's Billy Goat. Look at the clouds there. Of course, the Billy Goat camera at above 7,000 feet in elevation will climb up above those clouds, which is why you see a spectacular sunrise up in the Pateros area, although sunrise here in the Wenatchee Valley isn't until 7:28. But this is important because today we hit a milestone, our sunset tonight, 5:01. That's our first sunset after 5 o'clock in the evening in quite some time. We're getting there. Of course, Groundhog Day on Saturday is the midpoint of the winter season, and I'm all for that. Camera 3, what do we got, Uriah? That is Rock Island. We did this camera, I don't know, I think it was Monday, and the Rock Island Golf Course, which you see at the bottom of your screen, was completely covered in frost. It's considerably milder today. It's 28 degrees outside of our studio, so you can see there's no frost on the Rock Island Golf Course, but you can see the low clouds and the fog that are going to be prevalent all day today. But that high-pressure ridge is starting to already begin to move out of the area, and that's going to allow a frontal system to pay us a visit. And yeah, we're going to get a little bit of snow. Details coming up. So that's 3 cameras down, 1 to go, and we're going to go see what's happening at Omi Gardens, looking right at Rocky Reach Dam. Good zoom in there, Uriah. He's working out good. Look at that. That's spectacular. The Rocky Reach Dam, the newest of the dams in our area, of course, didn't get going until the early 1960s. That's spectacular. Lake Aniat behind it. That's a good shot there. It doesn't look like they got too many spill gates open. Well, why would they? This time of year, for crying out loud, it's January. So those are our tours with our high-definition cameras, courtesy of Localtel Sky-Fi high-speed wireless internet, which means you can get super fast internet to your home, to your cabin, any place that any of these Sky-Fi tower sites are available to you to look at. If you can physically see them, if you got a line of sight, you can do it. We have like 70 of these things all over North Central Washington. Give a local telecall, see if you can get Sky-Fi to your house. All right, it's 6 minutes after the hour. Let's take a look at your forecast from the National Weather Service. Didn't get anywhere near our high yesterday. We were supposed to be near 40. We only got to 29. That was it. Going to be patchy, foggy, cloudy today. High of about 33. And then we start talking about snow. The high pressure ridge is already beginning to move. It's actually going south, and that's going to allow a system to pay us a visit. So as far as snow tonight, we're talking in the wee small hours of the morning, almost really Friday morning. They say the snow, what we get, which is going to be less than half an inch, by the way, going to come down 4 a.m., 5 a.m., 6 a.m. On Friday morning. So cloudy, light snow, overnight low tonight of about 29. And then the snow until about 11 or noon, and then it switches over to a rain-snow mix, and then it switches over to just plain rain. That's what it's looking like now. Also patchy fog, and obviously going to be cloudy. But you see that high tomorrow, 36, so whatever snow we get, it ain't going to be around very long. They say less than half an inch of snow possible on Friday. Snow and the rain tapers out Friday night, overnight low of about 31 with cloudy skies. Not looking too bad on Saturday. Some morning fog and clouds, burns off, partly sunny in the afternoon Saturday. High near 42. On Super Bowl Sunday, Super Bowl, a registered trademark at the National Football League, all rights reserved. Mostly cloudy, slight chance of rain, high of 39. Good day to sit inside and watch some football. Back to work on Monday for a lot of people, but not me. And this is when the cold temperatures start to come on in. Cold Canadian air mass, which I believe they will measure in Celsius, will be moving into the region. So you can see these overnight lows as cold as we've had all winter long in the teens. And afternoon high is not near freezing. And I talked to Grant yesterday, who's our weather expert around here, and he said, yeah, this cold snap, which is going to start Monday and really into Tuesday and Wednesday, could be a long one with obviously the coldest temperatures, both highs and lows that we've seen all winter long. So there's your forecast from the National Weather Service. And now we take you up to the major mountain passes, and it's another day of no problems at all. No advisories, no restrictions. Visibility is the only thing you need to worry about. As you can see there, it's pretty cloudy and pretty foggy. That's a live shot of I-90 if you can make it out. No advisories, no restrictions, roadway bare and dry as far as Stevens Pass is concerned. No advisories, no restrictions. The roadway is bare and dry. Let's do a live shot of Stevens. There you go. It's down there somewhere. Apparently they changed the name of it to Stevens Summit. Anyway, you got no problems on US 2. It's smooth sailing. The same deal with Blue Pass. Let's take you to the top of US 97. No advisories, no restrictions, and a large pointy triangle has been found on the road. So we're going to call the Humane Society and see if they can clean that up. Can I go on vacation now, Uriah? Oh, my. Blue is fine. No problems. The weather forecast for the mountain passes today, pretty benign. Nothing really happening. Even though we're going to get a little bit of light snow tonight into Friday. They're expecting rain, actually, on all the major mountain passes. Occasionally heavy rain because it's warmer up there. The highs are going to be near 40 degrees. They're above the cloud cover. And with quite a bit of radiant sunshine, the temperatures at the summit of Stevens and Blewett certainly are going to be warmer than the Wenatchee Valley. So they're going to get rain tonight, and then it switches over to snow. And Friday afternoon, you're going to be dealing with a couple of inches of snow on Stevens Pass. It'll stay rainy on I-90. That's what it looks like. A couple of inches of snow on Friday night, and then intermittent snow showers, light spittles of snow in the mountain pass is expected over the weekend. That is what passes for a past report. At 9 minutes after they are going to take a break. When we come back, the news. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley live this morning from Studio 42 in downtown Wenatchee on the NCWLIFE channel.
My name is Lacey Haggerty, and I'm a nurse midwife with Columbia Valley Community Health. I love all aspects of my job because it is a profession that's very committed to empowering women to make decisions in their health care that feel best for them. It's incredibly valuable to me as a midwife that I get to take care of women throughout their whole lifespan. I hope to see you at a future visit because I know you'll love having midwifery care.
Hey everyone, did you know that the NCWLIFE channel is North Central Washington's go-to source for news? No matter how you prefer to view your news, NCWLIFE has you covered. Watch the evening news weeknights on TV, stream it, read it at ncwlife.com, or catch the latest news by following us on Facebook. Stay informed with local news, sports, weather, and shows featuring local people and events. NCWLIFE, a reflection and a spotlight of the communities we call home.
10 minutes after the hour on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, I am Dan Kuntz. Overcast skies, some fog. We are at 28 degrees, high today of about 33 with some light snow early Friday morning and a little bit of snow Friday afternoon, changing over to rain for the weekend. Here's what's making headlines on this Thursday morning. A group of homeowners have filed a second court appeal of the approval of the Black Rock Terrace subdivision. Earlier this week in Chelan County Superior Court, the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife objected to a city hearing examiner's approval of the 17-home, 13-acre subdivision. Now, while the state focused on its concerns about mule deer habitat in the Wenatchee foothills, the homeowners group also say hearings examiner Andy Kottkamp, quote, ignored the public as well as the city's own comprehensive plan and zoning codes, unquote. That's according to Suzanne Hartman, one of 12 petitioners on the filing. Other concerns raised by the homeowners were the impacts on views of the foothills, erosion, landslide hazards, wildfire risks, traffic, pedestrian safety. Steve and Tanya Tramp, the property owners, hope to begin development this spring. Well, tonight at 7 o'clock, the Eastmont School District will be hosting a drug education and prevention discussion. The meeting comes after an incident earlier this month when 2 Eastmont Junior High School students were sent to the hospital with reactions after eating THC-infused candy at school. In an earlier interview with NCWLIFE News, Eastmont Superintendent Garn Christensen says the legalization of marijuana in Washington State and the wide variety of drug products now available have all played a role in the increase in drugs in public schools.
I know that since we've had legalization of marijuana, we've had different types of substances coming into our school than we've seen. As long as I've been involved with public schools at the secondary level, there's been experimentation with both drugs and alcohol at that level, and we've always had to be very involved with supervision, checking students to see if they're under the influence. Since legalization, I think it's made it more readily available in homes, more out in the open, and then the different edibles that are coming in are much harder to detect. The smell of marijuana is a very specific smell. Once you get trained on what that smells like, it's easy to note where the edibles are not. And some of the edibles, there's videos out you can look, and they look like a regular piece of chocolate or gummy bear. You couldn't tell the difference. We are doing a parent information night. That will be, I think it's January 30th, 7 o'clock at our high school. Our drug and alcohol counselor will be leading that. And we're also inviting local law enforcement agencies to participate.
So what's the message to parents out there with regard to this?
You know, I think the message to parents would be the same as with any other substances in your home, whether it's prescription drugs or alcohol. If you have those products, you need to keep them secured. You know, young people are curious. That's human nature. They want to try these different things. They're not old enough. It's illegal. And you know, one of the worst things that can happen is, I think being a teenager is stressful, always has been. Part of the Eastmont model is we have a very strong disciplinary action. We go to a 90-day long-term suspension immediately for any drug or alcohol use, which is very severe. Yet if a student agrees to go through a counseling intervention, meaning they sit down with the student, and try to determine, was this the first use, or is this a daily user, or is this student using substances throughout the day? And if they agree, that immediately gets shortened to 10 days. If they come in with what we call a group of caring adults, that could be grandparents, other relatives, a pastor, a neighbor, they can get it further reduced to 5 days if that group commits to help get this student to graduation. We've had good success with that model. We continue to refine it, and our hope is that we'll avoid this situation in the future, but we do need parents to do everything they can to keep those products out of the hands of young people.
Again, the meeting tonight is at 7 o'clock at Eastmont High School. Well, eyeing a move to the old station area to consolidate headquarters and facilities, the Chelan PUD could vacate a significant piece of property in downtown Wenatchee. What to do with it? A maker's space, tech incubators, a residential campus? Well, Chelan Port Commissioner Rory Turner admits while he's just dreaming big at this point, teams are beginning to look at what could be done with the downtown property.
I haven't been so excited about a project in a long time. I am uber positive about the opportunities that exist at Fifth and Wenatchee. You've got a site that is, I think it's 8 acres or something like that. The PUD, the city, and the port have combined resources to and funds. And I think we funded $225,000 worth of capital to and hired through a process a firm to help advise what the highest and best use is of the project. Initially, when we first started talking with the PUD about their interest in Old Station, the subject always kept coming back to, well, what's going to happen to downtown? Because to provide really good leadership for this county, we need to look at, what do we have to backfill? I mean, this is an issue. We don't want to razor wire this and demo it. What's it going to be? So initially, we went through some design. We put a design team together, and this is very informal. It wasn't a lot of money. Hired a local architect. Got some people from the PUD, got some other local folks, sort of an advisory committee, and sat down. And at that point, I think it was great. It was basically to take it and make it into a multi-use complex. And by that I mean, I think we sort of coined the term live, work, create. So a big component would be residential. I think, and this is this is Rory Turner talking. Okay, this is not what's going to happen yet. We're paying people to really do this. But during these last 2 years, my thoughts have been to take the existing headquarters, particularly the offices that face Wenatchee, and hopefully try to convert those to more of a, I would call it workforce housing. I think there's a way to do it with the depth. They're solid buildings, and these would be smaller, sort of fully serviced units, but more affordable for the for students, for people that want to live here, but don't want 3 bedrooms, 2-car garage, and a big yard. Perhaps between the two, you could accommodate, between the new building and retroing the old, 100, 150 units total. I mean, it'd be a huge impact. Nothing this large has been built in downtown Wenatchee in a long time. So I see that as a great potential. And then the one thing that I don't think you should do is renovate a bunch of office space and put 100,000 square feet of office space, vacant office space, for lease in downtown Wenatchee. I don't think that works. I just don't think that that's prudent. I'm sort of on record as saying I want to see this as having the greatest impact or equal impact that PIBUS has had on our community, which to me is just a home run that we've been able to benefit from, and the Walkers are just phenomenal folks. Got to tip my hat to them. They're just wonderful. What would it be like if we didn't have PIBUS? Now you have to ask that question. But to me, this 8-acre piece, this is fun. This is where the opportunities really start popping out.
And finally, on this Thursday morning, superintendents and school administrators are trying to be creative with their snow day announcements across the country. Here's an example, and we'll let you decide how good they are. Take a look.
All right, stop, collaborate and listen. Ice is back and the roads will glisten. Polar vortex has a hold of us tightly. Wind like a harpoon daily and nightly.
Will the power stop?
No,
I don't know. Turn up the heat and let go. Sleep falling down like a million missiles, bringing school delays and early dismissals. Dance!
Oh, it's here, that ice cold, that winter storm, that white snow. This calls for them good girls, them good boys for school today. Calling texting, sending it out through Mo Valley. On Tuesday at home you'll stay after listening to my ditty. And we're closed Tuesday till the roads are cleared by the snowplow man. And we're closed Tuesday.
I wanted to just do a quick video announcement. I know that one of the things that's been happening, which is an epidemic across our country, is that superintendents and other administrators are coming up with ridiculous songs, and they're playing music and putting sunglasses on and making absolute fools of themselves trying to cancel school for a snow day. And seems like we have
Wait. Let me reiterate that we are not going to humiliate ourselves by singing a snow day song.
I don't honestly know what happened. I mean, I can't stand it when people sing about snow day songs.
I heard about a winter storm. It's cold and dreary. Stay home, stay warm. It's cold and it's a snowy winter morning. It goes like this: when the snow hits, the buses can't get out of it. It's cold and it's a snowy winter morning. It's a snow day, a winter cold day. Stay home and just play. It's a great family day.
Okay. Not bad, although I think the estate of Leonard Cohen will be filing a lawsuit shortly there. That's good stuff. That's the news here at 21 minutes after the hour. Don't forget the news tonight comes your way. Grant Olson in the anchor chair, Eric Granstrom with your local sports and everything else you need to know to get your Thursday night going. It's a nice little newscast we like to call the news, because you have to call it something. Grant and the news at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock. 5, 6, and 10 on TV, available on demand on our website at NCWLIFE.com, just about 5 o'clock in the evening. So you can watch it whenever you darn well please. And yes, we have all of our newscasts archived, our shows too, our sporting events, all kinds of different things. Give it a whirl, NCWLIFE.com. And while you're there, drop us a line. We'd love to hear from you. All kinds of different ways for you to get a hold of us. Best way, news at NCWLIFE.com. Our email address, news at NCWLIFE.com. 22 minutes after the hour. How did the Wild do last night? Remember, they had a 4-game losing streak heading into Merritt last night. How did they do? Spoiler alert. You'll find out in 1 minute. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCWLIFE channel.
When Mike leaves town, it's a little scary. You never know who might be outside. But we feel safer inside knowing our home is being monitored by a local company. I can check our alarm from just about anywhere, so when we get home, I know it's safe.
Protect your family and save money with a local company. Switch your current security monitoring to Guardian Services from LocalTel. Call Guardian Security from LocalTel now, or visit localtel.net to learn more.
Put winter weather in its place with a new Cub Cadet snow thrower from Rose Tractor. Hi, this is Corey. Let us help you get through the season with our line of Cub Cadet snow throwers. When it comes to snow, never let winter weather get in your way. The Cub Cadet X Series line of snow throwers offers 3 levels of snow clearing power and a host of award-winning models. Get ahead of the snow. Let us help you get into the right snow thrower for the job. Rose Tractor, family owned and operated, located at the corner of 3rd and Rock Island Road in East Wenatchee.
We're back at 24 minutes after the hour, just barely sports. The Wenatchee Wild snapping their 4-game losing streak, 3-2 the final. Nice victory at Merritt last night. The hero was Matt Gocheski. He would give the Wenatchee the lead at the 14:42 mark at the second, scored what proved to be the game winner in the third. Merritt would get a late game goal to make it close, but they'd run out of time, and Wenatchee walks away with the victory. Highlights, Art Checker has the call to the Wenatchee Wild Hockey Network video, courtesy of Hockey TV.
They roll through center, Chip and Chase trying to get in and around. Granowitz backhand shot, score. Goslin finishes it off as Granowitz came down the left side, chipped it off the left wing boards, got in around behind Herzog, and then backhanded it right into the slot area. And Matthew Goslin was there for the finish. At 5:04 of the first period, Merritt is on the board. Played by Hodges on the right side. Tough angle, shot off the post as it was ripped by Stratton. Clearing attempt, held in Modry. That shot, tip, score! A.J. Hodges with the redirection. Modry took the shot from the right point, and the tip in front just below the hash marks, up over the shoulder of Roden. And the Wild have knotted it up at 1. Met there by Matsui. Reifenberger in to help, extracts the puck, snaps it across, in shot, score! Matthew Gosselin. After Reifenberger did a fantastic job of holding the puck over at the right point, whipped it across into the high slot, and Gosiewski spins and flings it right through the 5-hole. And the Wild have taken a 2-1 lead. And back through center come the Wild. Hastings on the right wing, back across. Gosiewski shoots, he scores! Oh, what a shot by Matt Gosiewski on the give and go from the right side. And Gosiewski plants a dart upstairs where Grandma hides the Bisquics. And for Matt Gosiewski, his second goal of the night, the Wild now lead it 3-1. Marco Reifenberger will take the draw, and the Centennials hold it in. Mike Van Unen bangs it off the wall. But Reifenberger couldn't get out of the zone. There's a shot by Wicks. That's blocked, rebound, score. The shot was blocked on the way through, and the rebound fell off to the side, and Nick Granowitz was there, able to sweep home the backhander. Dug out, spun wide of the cage. 6 seconds left to the near corner, hacked out to center by Stratton, and they're going to run out of time as the Centennials tried to tag up to get onside, but they just flat run out of time, and the Wenatchee Wild grind out a hard-fought road win here tonight.
Good to see that 4-game Schneid knocked off. Wenatchee, by the way, will be in Penticton tomorrow to take on the division-leading V's. That's at 7 o'clock. And then Saturday, back to town. Wenatchee hosts Vernon. It is Guns and Hoses night at the Town Toyota Center on Saturday night. If you've never seen the policemen and the fire folks play a game of hockey, it's very entertaining. Lots of goals are going to be scored. That's at 5, the fire and police game. And then the Wild and the Vipers will do battle at 7 o'clock. Wild players will wear special jerseys during the game. They'll auction them off after the contest. And by the way, there's only 3 home games left in the regular season before the playoffs begin. So get to the Town Toyota Center box office, get your tickets, go online, WenatcheeWildHockey.com. Get your tickets. Big night Saturday night. Big night tonight on the NCWLIFE channel. Of course, it's Thursday. That means it's hockey night. We got the Wenatchee Wild's game against Langley from last Friday. Arch Ecker had your play-by-play, but the puck drops in at 7 o'clock.
We'll be tracking them all for you. The Wild defenseman lost an edge. There's a shot and a score. Mateo Pecchia over on the right side. Hodges helps it out. Centering feed shot. Oh, it hit the post. Rebound, score. A.J. Hodges, after Fletcher's wide open attempt on the near side, clanged off the iron, but the rebound back into the slot, and Hodges was there. He sweeps it home. Power play goal for the Wild. And the game is tied at 1.
Little taste of what we got going tonight. You can watch the game in its entirety again at 7 o'clock right here on your exclusive television home for the Wenatchee Wild hockey team. That's us, the NCWLIFE channel. Let's look ahead at the schedule sports-wise. For the rest of the week, we're going to be at Wenatchee High School tomorrow night. The Panthers and the Cadets. Girls start at 5:45, boys at 7:30. The Handsome and Debonair Grant Olson with the call live tomorrow. Then on Saturday, Groundhog Day, we'll have Davis and Eastmont. And then Davis and Eastmont. The first is the girls' game from January 5th at 2 o'clock, and then the boys' game to follow, which was a very entertaining game. You can watch that on Saturday afternoon right here on your home for local sports, the NCWLIFE channel. Prep sports schedule for tonight, pretty light. Cashmere girls have already wrapped up the title. Now they'll just wrap up the regular season, looking to win their 40th consecutive Caribou Trail League game. They'll be at Cascade at 5:45. Chelan's at Tenasket at 6. Cascade Christian girls host Easton, and Wilson Creek is in Antioch. Boys basketball schedule looks like this. Well, it's the same as the girls, just a little bit later on. Cashmere, by the way, can wrap up the regular season Caribou Trail League title if they beat Cascade tonight in Leavenworth. Let's go back to the Les Schwab scoreboard. Men's college basketball last night. Noah Dickerson, 21 points, 14 rebounds. Oh my, the Huskies remain undefeated in Pac-12 play. No problems with a victory over USC. They led from the very beginning, 75-42. The final at Martin Center in Pullman. Prince Ali, Moses Brown, and Chris Wilkes each scored 16 points. Unfortunately, those 3 play for UCLA, and they ran away from Washington State. Everybody's beating Washington State these days 87-67. By the way, tonight, number 4 Gonzaga plays at BYU, 8 o'clock on ESPN2. And Walla Walla last night, the Lady Knights had their 15-game winning streak snapped. They lost in overtime to Walla Walla. The final was 95-91. And those are just some of the games that people are playing on this Thursday. Right at the bottom of the hour, it's time for the Obscure Holiday. And today, on January 31st, Inspire Your Heart with Art Day. Inspire your heart with art. Now, I'll freely admit it, I'm an art ignoramus. I know what I like and I know what I don't like, so I just thought I'd do dogs playing poker. I wonder how they were able to get the dogs to pose for that. That must have been remarkable. Art is appreciated for all kinds of different reasons. Look at a piece of art and ask yourself, what do I get out of this? Do I like it? Do I love it? What emotions is it evoking, if any? Inspire your heart with Art Day today. Everybody needs a little art. You know, that's why they still teach it in school. It's important, art is. I wish I was better at it. Maybe that's why I'm an art ignoramus. Nice view of Billy Goat there at 30 minutes after the hour. Today in history, on this January 31st, John Marshall was appointed the Chief Justice of the United States of America. On this date, 218 years ago, he was the longest-serving Chief Justice in history, the 4th longest-serving justice of any kind in history, and he had more impact on the American legal system than any single individual in this country's history, specifically judicial review. Before John Marshall took over leadership of the court, it was simply considered if Congress passed a bill and the president signed that bill into law, it was by definition constitutional. And it was John Marshall who said, no, wait a minute, the final say in what is and isn't constitutional isn't you two guys, it's us. The Supreme Court, the greatest justice of all time, John Marshall. And here's a cool thing. Back in the day, they all lived together. All the justices lived in the same house. They should do that again. Make that a reality show. Congratulations to John Marshall. Got the big job in this state 218 years ago. A couple of Super Bowls celebrating their anniversaries today. Super Bowl XXII, also known as Super Bowl 22, was held in San Diego on this date 31 years ago. Washington defeated Denver 42-10. The score at the end of the first quarter was Denver 10, Washington 0. The score at the end of the second quarter was Denver 10, Washington 35. And then everybody turned off their televisions. Herb Alpert performed the national anthem, played it on his trumpet. He remains to this day. That's the last time the anthem was played and not sung, was Super Bowl 22. And the halftime show, Chubby Checker. They would do better. Like in 1993, for instance, 26 years ago, Super Bowl XXVII in Pasadena, California. Dallas defeats Buffalo 52-17. The game is supposed to have been played in Tempe, Arizona, but remember Arizona did not observe Martin Luther King Jr. Day, so they moved it to Pasadena. Halftime entertainment on that day, Michael Jackson. In fact, Michael Jackson's halftime show for Super Bowl XXVII actually outrated the game itself. Happened on this day back in '93. And let's do some birthdays for you. Today is the centennial of the birth of Jackie Robinson. Jack Roosevelt Robinson. That's Ernie Banks. We'll get to Ernie in just a little bit. Jackie Robinson was born on this date 100 years ago today, alongside Babe Ruth, the most important baseball player in this country's history, probably one of the half dozen most important athletes in this country's history, the man, Jackie Robinson. Today is the centennial of his birth, the great Jackie Robinson. Speaking of baseball legends, you saw him briefly. Ernie Banks, Mr. Cub, was born in this state in 1931, passed away a couple of years ago at the age of 83. Played all 18 seasons with the Cubs, never made it to the playoffs, never played in the World Series. His famous line, "It's such a beautiful day, let's play two." He was the very first Cub to have his uniform number retired, and he was inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame back in 1977. Nolan Ryan is 72 years old today. Baseball Hall of Famer class of 1999. Played 27 seasons in the major leagues. That's more than any other player in history. 5,714 career strikeouts, by far the most all-time. 7 no-hitters, 12 one-hitters, 18 two-hitters. The legendary Nolan Ryan is 72. And happy 38th birthday to Justin Timberlake. Justin Timberlake is 38 years old today. I think he's a great entertainer. When Justin Timberlake is on TV, I watch. The guy can do it all. 34 minutes after the hour, everyone is entitled to Mike Minotti's opinion in just a couple of minutes. But first, it's Kennel Cameos. Let's see if we can get Scooter the dog home. Kennel Cameos on the NCWLIFE channel.
Hey Hey guys, Megan here with the NCWLIFE channel. We are here with Jenny, the volunteer coordinator at the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society, and joining us this week is Scooter. Can you tell us about Scooter?
Yes, Scooter is about 1 year old. He's a fun, loving, very playful hound. He can escape a 6-foot fence, so if he is in a fenced yard, he needs to be higher than 6 feet tall. He's in our Canine Good Citizen program here at the shelter, so he's learning all his basics. He knows sit, he knows place, he knows down. He's in our play group as well, so he's good with other dogs. He's actually, he's as lovable as they get, so he's a fun hound. I can't say enough good things. We love Scooter here, you know.
Awesome. And if someone wants to adopt Scooter, what should they do?
They should come on down here to the shelter and meet Scooter. If they have another dog, go ahead and bring their dog, meet him, and then if they're interested in adopting him, fill out an application, and he can go home. He's ready.
Scooter, do you have something to say? The Wenatchee Valley Humane Society is located at 1474 South Wenatchee Avenue and is open Monday through Friday from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturday and Sunday from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Give them a call at 509-662-9577 or visit their website at wenatcheehumane.org. Kennel Cameos is supported in part by Rocky Mountain Chocolate Factory in Leavenworth. Not only does the Rocky Mountain Chocolate Factory have great house-made fudge and super delicious candy and caramel apples, but they also have great doggy treats for your four-legged friends, located at 636 Front Street in Leavenworth. This has been Kennel Cameos at the Wenatchee Valley Humane Society.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, I've told you about this Amazon Echo thing that I have in my house that my wife and I got. This thing echoes and answers when I talk to it. Well, some of my friends have advised me, they've warned me, don't get this thing because they say that all this Echo Alexa thing is a tool for the government to eavesdrop. Those folks say the CIA or whoever is hacking into our Echoes, our droids, and our iPhones and listening to everything we say. Well, I say that if the government really wants to hear Rosie and I argue about whose turn it is to thaw out some identifiable freezer bag for dinner, well, they're more than welcome to listen if they want to. Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and that's my opinion.
What's your Automocha emergency?
It's a Frappuccino mocha with whip.
The espresso shakes are my most favorite because I can get any flavor. Peanut butter chocolate for pita.
Definitely the espresso shakes.
My favorite is the mocha for pitas.
A peach Red Bull.
And welcome back to Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I am Dan Kuntz. One of the top cinematographers we have employed here at the NCWLIFE channel is Malcolm Whitehall. He does a lot of our sports events and some other odds and ends occasionally when he wakes up and goes to work. And Malcolm is the one who said, you know, I've been working on this project with Amelia and Randy, and this could be a fascinating conversation for my program. And by golly, Amelia reached out to me. She's here. Randy's here. The film is called A Winter's Tale, and I can't wait to see it. To my immediate left is Amelia Egbert, and to my far left is Randy Lewis. Welcome to the program.
Thanks for having us,
It's
Dan.
good to see you. You're first-timers. All first-timers get the same question. A little bit about yourself, just a brief bio. Randy, you go first. Tell us about yourself.
Randy Lewis, member of the Colville tribe, or the 12 Confederated Tribes, the Colville Indian Reservation. Wenatchee tribal member. Born on the Colville Indian Reservation, a little place called Owhigh Lake Flats, above the Indian Agency, and I was born one morning. It was 50 below zero, and life has gotten more exciting since then. And I was so small when I was born. They stuck me in a cedar root basket to pack me down. They brought me down to the Indian hospital just to make sure that I was not going to be, you know, frozen.
Mm-hmm.
And
That was nice of them to do that.
Yeah. shortly after that, we moved to Celilo Falls on the Oregon-Washington border, and we remained there until the Dalles Dam project inundated the largest salmon fishery in the world. And moving from there in 1955, we came to Wenatchee Heights, and I grew up on Wenatchee Heights with an extended family system of my mother, my father, my grandparents, my great-grandparents, all living right above Stamilt, where all the stories come from.
Right.
That's where the all evolves. And yada, 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 I made it through life.
Is that an official term? Yada, yada.
Amelia, I suppose you were born at a very young age as well?
I was also born young,
Yeah.
in Brewster, actually. I spent a little time in Wenatchee as a wee child and grew up in Leavenworth. And, you know, I am a filmmaker by trade, so I spent about a decade after college in Los Angeles and moved home just under 4 years ago, where we started Your Human Productions, and I've been making films and teaching in the Valley ever since. So.
It's good to have you back. LA ate you up and spit you out. Is that pretty much how that works?
Gosh, no, I love Los Angeles. I loved being there, and I also I just got to a point with my family where I really wanted to be back at home with my people, and so I still have a very fond place in my heart for Los Angeles.
You'll get over
it. The film is entitled A Winter's Tale. One of the creative people behind it is Josiah, who was telling me that it kind of started out as a small little project, and as they started to realize that this is a much bigger story than a 10-minute film can possibly contain, it has become what it is now. What is The Winter's Tale? I have your email, but it doesn't do it justice. Tell us about the film. Randy, or give us a brief synopsis of what this motion picture is about.
A Winter's Tale takes you back to a period in my life in which we didn't have electricity or running water. And my grandparents, in the wintertime especially, would essentially we would listen to the creation stories as they were told. And my grandfather, his name was Kashlachen, Jerome Miller. Miller Street in Wenatchee is named after his father, Sam Miller, and or his grandfather. Anyway, he grew up here on Rock Island, or not on Rock Island, he grew up here during the time of the fishery of Rock Island. And so he was steeped in these stories. And growing up, like I said, without electricity, without running water, you're not bombarded by extraneous things like television or even radio. But these stories are what you remember. All these stories. This was our Lord of the Rings. This was our creation. They go back thousands and thousands of years. And where we lived on the Wenatchee Heights, we lived right above Stamilt, the spires, the pinnacles that rise from the valley floor there. And as a kid, ever since I was like 6 years old, I was crawling in and out of the caves there looking for bobcats to turn into pets.
How did the bobcats handle that?
They were going to become my pets.
You don't want these stories to become extinct, like language, right?
Right,
That's the key.
right,
you want
right.
these stories to have
My
a
mother
life
was
of their own.
my mother was a linguist, and she recorded oral tradition, ethnography, ethnobotany, everything. And she kind of got caught mid-stride. She wasn't able to finish her bucket list, but much like me, her bucket list is way beyond. It's kind of like planting a tree. You know, you have to understand that the tree you plant, you'll never bask in the shade of it one day, but your grandchildren may. And that's what we're trying to do. We're just continuing it. Maybe that's it, is that there is no end. It's just a continuation.
The idea of actually filming this tale is to me brilliant. Whose idea was that? Where does Amelia? Where do you come into this project as far as making this happen and getting these stories on film and the legends?
Yeah, well, that was this is the many coincidences of Randy Lewis in Wenatchee, I was broke, I was out of money, I was down street walking, and along came Amelia.
No. It was really a connection made by Selena Danko at the Wenatchee Museum.
Yes.
Yes.
I love
Yeah.
Selena. She's been on this program, as a matter of
Yeah,
fact.
she's wonderful.
And she put you two together, and there was...
Yes.
Well, she and I had worked together on a directed study last year for
Okay.
middle school students at Pioneer, and when the projects came out, they really exceeded our expectations. We were just thrilled with the final product, and Selena pulled me aside and she said, you know what, if you're looking for another subject for next year, would you please consider Randy Lewis? There's something really important that he brings to our experience at the Wenatchee Valley Museum, and I think it would make an incredible film. And she was right. And that's kind of how our relationship began. She connected us,
Right.
and from there we put together a curriculum that estimated that we were actually dealing with short stories. And this is something you alluded to before,
Right.
is that we started out in studio working with Randy with the intention of making, you know, these beautiful short films that would be, you know, 3-5 minutes long, learning about some of the different chapters of the creation story, starting with the river dragon Spexman, and including things like the Owl Sisters and Coyote bringing salmon to the people.
Yes, the Shastan Pinnacles.
Yes. So each one of these stories that Randy has to share with us is based around geological formations that are right here in the valley,
Which makes it a great film, as opposed to, it's one thing to have a tribal elder sit down with a tape recorder and tell these stories. That's one thing, but the beautiful geographic area that we live in, and how it all ties in together. This has to be filmed. The pinnacles need to be filmed. Saddle Rock needs to be filmed. The Stimmill Basin needs to be filmed. It needs to have a visual element to tie the whole thing together.
It really does lend itself to...
Well, I never realized just how spectacular these areas were until Josiah and Malcolm, these are the people who create the magic, did this film. And I'm going, oh my God, that's what it looks like from up there. This is an eagle's eye view. Now I'm jealous. I'd be the biggest, fattest eagle in the world sitting up there flying around these places if I could. But I don't have to now, I have them.
Yeah.
You brought a trailer with you.
I did.
What are we about ready to see? What's
It's the introductory trailer for Chapter 1 of Randy's stories, the story of Dragon Spexman, who is tell me if I'm getting this right, he's a 13,000-year-old dragon who guarded the confluence of the Columbia River and kept man at bay?
No, he kept man as food.
Ooh.
And he's older than 13. He came from the time 3 eras ago, from around the time of the dinosaurs, that era. And he's literally immovable.
So would it be correct to say that he was defeated 13,000?
He was defeated. You can never kill power.
Okay. Let's hope so. Let's hope you're right, or maybe wrong. We're going to go ahead and use the monitor here in the studio. You folks at television,
He doesn't
you
even
folks at
know.
home, please use your televisions. Here's the trailer.
When I was a kid, we didn't have electricity. We didn't have running water. But what we had was a wealth of stories. And every night, my grandmother and grandpa would start out by saying, we don't have a lot to give you. I come to you with empty hands. Icha and cha. Kashlachen, he'd say. Here is me, Kashlachen, your grandfather. I give you these things. The area we're at right now, we call it Nakwekweas. Means when the Creator threw rocks out everywhere and they landed.
The geology, if we're just a few thousand, or let's say less than 20,000 years in time, is an absolute perfect marriage between Native American stories and our scientific work.
Not far from here, below the confluence in the Columbia River, there existed a being. He was a carryover from the time before people. We had a name for him, Spexman. Spexman was a river dragon, and he was the last of his kind. Man had no power, he had no spirit, he had no magic. We all have superheroes now. Well, these were our superheroes 13,000 years ago.
Fascinating stuff. Fascinating stuff. I can't wait to see. When can I see this film, as a matter of fact? Is it done? Is it ready to be viewed?
It's in process now, and
Okay.
our first shorter version of it will be available at the Vox Docs Film Festival on March 1st at the Snowy Owl at Icicle Creek Center for the Arts.
Obviously, you've mentioned Malcolm and Josiah. At the very end of the trailer, you saw some other names of people who were part of the creative process. You want to go ahead and give them the kudos that they deserve?
Yeah, we have some incredible students working with us right now. We have Michael Sims, Sierra Egbert, Malcolm Whitehall, Josiah Davison, and Aiden Forsberg, as well as Tobin and
They know who they are.
Tobin, thank you.
Yeah.
And in addition to the students that we have here, we also have some teacher's assistants and Mr. Link, who's our partner at the Wenatchee Valley Technical Center. So we're also working with Austin, Flory, and Nicholas Dirk, and they've been incredible. So when you see the drone shots that are in the trailer, they're actually piloted by Nicholas Dirk, who's teaching the clinic on how to fly a drone for our students.
Okay.
So.
Is these films don't fund themselves? Where's the money coming from?
Currently, we have been partially funded to this point by the Icicle Fund at Icicle Creek Center for the Arts. They're separate institutions. And then we've also just recently been sponsored by the Wenatchee Art Consortium.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you for helping us move forward.
Randy, what do you want people, when they view this film, what do you want people to take away from it? What's the message? Why should they go?
We're still here. That's the message. We're Wenatchee, we're Npaskosa people. Once we numbered in the tens of thousands, and we were driven out of here. We lost our homeland. This is our Mecca. This is our Jerusalem. And I want people to understand that all those places that they drive by have got importance to us. They're sacred. I want them to, I guess you could say, I want them to walk away with awe and a sense of sacred. This is our Sistine Chapel.
That's good stuff. I can't wait to see it. When can I see it? You mentioned it's almost done.
Come to the film
March
festival.
4th, in March.
March 1st. I just
Okay.
want to say Tobin Walker is the other student
Okay.
who's assisting us. He's
Okay.
incredible. And March 1st is our first screening at Vox Docs. And if there's anyone in the audience who also wants to help contribute to making this project fly, we're still seeking funding.
Yes.
We are still seeking funding to continue this chapter, the Dragon Specsman, and also to pursue the continuing chapters, the series, the evolutionary series of the story where we get
So
to talk
if
about.
you get the whole funding and you go all the way through, this is basically going to be in chronological order, beginning with that, or are you shooting what you can when you can?
We're capturing the stories in studio first, and then we're building the short films in series in fall and spring for the next 3 years. So we really have an entire catalog here that we get to share, like to create and share back with the Wenatchee Valley, that teaches us all about the geology and the sacred nature of these places that are right here.
Yeah, they're right here. I mean, outside, the dams came and the fishes went away and all that other stuff, but the vast majority of the geographical places that you see, from the Peshastin Pinnacles to the Stamilt
Spires.
the spires of the Stamilt Basin, to Saddle Rock, to any place, they're still pretty much the way they were thousands and thousands of years ago.
If they'd stop climbing around on the Peshastin Pinnacles and tearing them down, it kind of annoys me, but I understand they're there and people don't. That's part of the reason we got to do this, is so people will respect and appreciate what is there.
You know, Dan, I don't know if we specifically said it before, but these are students in high school, local students in high school who are making these films. And what I've noticed, observing them in the process of learning how to make the films and getting to know Randy and then taking them on as their own, is that there's a level of personal connection and personal responsibility that becomes inherent when these stories are being created by the students in a place that they call home. They become part of their story now.
I was going to ask you, what's it like working with with millennials and kids, but
they feed me.
Yeah.
They put me to bed.
Yeah.
Well, that's an interesting point about them being millennials,
Yeah,
because
please.
kids are growing up in an age now where they're, from the moment that they can remember, they're connected to a screen. And it occurs to me, like, in this world, I have 5 stepchildren who are ranging from 7 to 18, and in this world they spend so much time connected connected to these screens, and to have something that's physical and tangible that they're creating that ties them to their geography. It ties them to each other in a team building way. It ties them to Randy as an oral historian, and it gives them a real way to contribute to our community, because these stories are important, right? This is a legacy for all of us, and we're putting it together for future generations. Like you were saying, this isn't just for these students. They're the ones who are bringing it to life for us, but it's for every member of this valley and for future members of this valley.
You think Malcolm and Josiah and the rest of the crew have a future in filmmaking, be it documentary or whatever creative path they decide to take?
They could turn this into a game.
Absolutely.
Good.
Yeah, these kids are all incredibly talented.
Good.
And they're going to be community leaders. And that's what we're out to create, is to raise up children that have this initiative and this skill, and provide them with the opportunity to become the leaders that they're meant to be.
Well, as you progress and continue to tell the saga, I'd like to have you back on again. If the next film gets done and
What do
there's
you
more
think, Randy?
happening, I'd love to have you on again.
Well, we'd love to come
Yeah,
back.
I'm talking to Randy specifically.
Oh, gosh. Cut out completely.
I'm just
Run under
kidding,
the bus.
Amelia. I'm just kidding. It's called A Winter's Tale. You absolutely have to check it out. I personally can't wait to see it. Malcolm, thanks for tuning me in to Randy and Amelia. Good job. Good job. Thanks, everybody. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back.
Walkabout Grill, open 7 days a week for lunch and dinner in downtown Wenatchee and now downtown Leavenworth, where eating out is eating healthy.
Hi, I'm Kevin Prosser, and this is my print shop, Color Effects in Cashmere. Color Effects offers screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing on t-shirts, jerseys, bags, banners, signs, and more. With 30 years experience, you won't be disappointed with the quality and quick turnaround times you will get at more than a fair price. Please call Color FX.
Couple of minutes to go on this Thursday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, the last day of January 2019. And while we have a moment, let's go ahead and take one more look at your forecast from the National Weather Service. Overcast and gray again today, a high of about 33 degrees. You see those snowflakes on the forecast chart. Well, that means we're going to get a little bit of light snow. It's going to be in the wee small hours of Friday morning, basically between 4 a.m. till about 6 a.m. Early tomorrow morning is when we're looking at the snow. Less than half an inch possible. Could even switch over to rain at times. And a high and an overnight low tonight of around 29. Friday, a little bit of light snow mixing with snow rain off and on. Not a lot of snow, almost none at all really. High Friday of 36, so whatever snow we get, not going to be sticking around. Friday night, a rain-snow mix until about 10 o'clock, and then it dries out and clears out of here, 31 for the overnight low Friday night. Saturday, not bad. A little bit of patchy fog until about 11 a.m. or noon. Then it should burn off. We'll have partly sunny skies Saturday and a high near 42. And Sunday, looks like it's a pretty good day to watch the Super Bowl. Super Bowl 53. It's going to be a nice inside kind of a day. Super Bowl, by the way, is a registered trademark of the National Football League. All rights reserved. I have about 39 degrees. Then here comes some cold weather. Much colder than normal temperatures are going to be possible next week. Cold Canadian air mass is going to start sliding down from the north. And we're in for the coldest weather of the winter so far. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of next week. Grant tells me it could last for a while. Don't forget, Friday, or Saturday, I should say, is Groundhog Day. Enjoy that. And speaking of that, I'm out of here. I'm going to be on assignment for quite some time. I will not be back in this chair until Monday, February 18th. Eric Granstrom will be filling in my absence. So as long as I'm not Wally-pipped, I'll see you on Monday the 18th. Until then, everybody take care. Have a great Thursday. Bye-bye.